Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in today's video I'm going to discuss with you why you get the rejection email. My name is Iyetunde Adeyemi. I am a VIP flight attendant. Before I became a VIP flight attendant, I have 5 years experience in commercial aviation in Lagos, Nigeria. The reason why I'm able to give you an advice concerning how to get your application through the ATS system is because I once applied to Etihad and I also applied to Qatar, and I'm going to use my experience to help you to get that invitation to the airline's assessment day or the current online face-to-face interview. I have 2 videos that I made answering interview questions. I have a part 1 and a part 2. You can click on the link below to, watch it. I also have an ebook, Life of a Flight Attendant. I also have it as a Facebook page, and I also have an ebook. I want you to try and get it because in it there are 20 interview questions and answers, and it will help you in your journey to becoming a cabin crew. So let's get started. So when I got the rejection email, I really felt bad. Then I moved on from that because they told me until after 6 months before I was able to apply again. So I just let that one go. So because I'm always sourcing for information online, and I always look for ways to improve on myself and all that. So the first thing I did, I think Virgin Atlantic was recruiting in my country, and I was very interested with Virgin Atlantic because I love Richard Branson. And so I took my time to write a very, very good cover letter. I took my time to write it, as in the cover letter was fantastic. And so I sent it. When I sent it, I realized that they invited me for interview and all that, but I didn't pass through the final stage. But what got to me was that the fact that Etihad rejected me. I took time to retrace my steps. I took time to look at it, that what is it I did that was not up to their standard. So when Virgin Atlantic was recruiting, I took my time. I didn't do anything to my CV. I took my time to write a cover letter because the application also said that we should write cover letter, and I took my time to write a very good cover letter. And that was when I told myself that, okay, if this cover letter got me an invitation to an interview, it means if I take time to, rewrite my CV, I would also get invited to Etihad for an Etihad assessment assessment day. So I went to Google and I googled CV templates, free CV templates, and I saw how professional a CV should look. And I looked at the CV template and I looked at mine, and I was like, my God, I did not even score it at all. So I had to rewrite my CV. I took absolute time to write my CV. Then I know that with cabin crew, pictures are very, very important. So I went again to a professional photographer. I did not stay in my room and used an iPhone to take pictures and use a white background. No, I went to a professional photographer. Yes, it's going to cost you money, but I mean, this is an investment to your future. If you get a job with Etihad or Virgin Atlantic or one of these very big airlines, your life is going to change forever. So I went to a professional photographer, and I wore business attire and I took pictures. Then all this I did within that 6 months period. I told you I didn't pass the Virgin Atlantic final interview. I didn't pass through that, but I learned something from that. The point I'm trying to make here is that whenever you get a rejection email, you don't need to start feeling bad and start to think that they have certain people they hire, they have certain cultures they hire. Stop looking for something within you that doesn't qualify. Look, the best thing to do, retrace your steps and think back. For some people think that because they have masters in this, something that they have because they have certain experiences, and so if they just send their CV, they will call you. They won't call you. These airlines have requirements, and if you don't meet their requirements, it doesn't even matter if you are the president's son. They will not call you. They will send you a rejection email. That's one thing about them. You need to meet up with their requirements. So let me continue with Etihad. When I sent my CV and I sent those pictures, 2 days after, I was invited for their assessment day. I was surprised. I was like, you see, I took my time to retrace my steps. Meanwhile, I have 5 years cabin crew experience. But I didn't let that 5 years experience to blind me from thinking that, oh, because I have a cabin crew experience, so definitely they should choose me. I feel no. Humility is key here. These airlines have requirements. How do you know their requirements? Go to their websites. That's how you know their requirements. Take your time to read their requirements. Take your time to read their requirements. Invest in your CV. There are 2 things that make you get that invitation to assessment day: your CV and your pictures. Take your time. I invested in my CV. Now, this thing I'm talking to you about was in 2015. For Qatar Airways, I applied to Qatar Airways like almost 4 times. At a point, I was so angry, but I was applying with the same CV, the same picture. I never even knew that with Qatar Airways it was a light blue background. I was using the picture that I used for Etihad for Qatar Airways. But after the rejection, I was like, no. I think Qatar Airways, they must have their own requirements, because my own mentality was like, I thought that Etihad, Emirates and Qatar, I thought they all had the same requirements. But guess what? They don't. That's why you see sometimes some people will tell you, I got rejected in Etihad, but they accepted me in Emirates. I got rejected in Qatar, but they accepted me in Etihad. The reason is because they all have different requirements. Take your time. Go to their websites. Go to their websites and read what their requirements are. So, in all this, what I have said is very, very clear. Why do you get rejection email? You have not taken your time to read what their requirements are. Let me tell you something about the ATS. There's an ATS that they use. These airlines use it. They use it to fish out CVs that don't meet up with their requirements. Now, you see, you know the reason why I'm saying requirements. Like, let me use Qatar Airways as an example. For Qatar Airways is minimum age 21 years. You must be fit, physically fit, willingness to relocate to Doha, passion for customer service, a love of travel. If you look at the requirements, they're up to like 10. Now, this is what they have given. The ATS is kind of like an artificial intelligence machine that fishes out what it does is look for the requirements. It will look for it in your CV. Now, if in your CV you do not write passion for customer service, you do not write love of travel, team spirit, if you do not take your time to look at what the requirements they have, your CV will just be fished out and you get a rejection email. When I was going, let me tell you what I did. I have a CV for Qatar Airways, I have CV for Emirates, and I have CV for Etihad. Why? Because all their requirements are different. For Etihad, I know excellent communication skills, excellent customer service skills. So when I'm writing my CV, on the side of skills, on my CV, my skills will involve a team spirit, excellent command of English, excellent command of English or excellent communication skills, excellent customer service skills. If I'm going to do a CV for Qatar Airways, I'm definitely going to write my hobby, sporting activities. For skills, I'll also write love of travel, because in their requirements is written there. So my advice to you is, when you are about to prepare your CV, I advise you, don't use the same CV you use for Qatar for Emirates. Don't use the same CV you use for Emirates for Etihad. Take your time to look at their requirements and create your CV according to that requirement. Now, sometimes some people will tell you that, can you send me your CV so I can use it to create my own CV? If I send you my own CV and you use my CV to create your own CV, what's that going to do? It means you're going to create the same thing that I have created. Now, you also, someone else will ask you for your CV, you give it to that person also creates the same type of CV, and it's that same CV that you're going to carry and apply to Emirates. Do you think you'll be accepted? No. You might pass the ATS machine, you might pass it, but by the time your CV gets to a recruiter, the recruiter sees like 10 of the same type of CVs. That is the same format, the same everything. No. You see, when you get a CV template, it's meant to give you an idea of how you should create yours. You're not meant to copy and paste. Don't copy and paste. Copy and create. Copy and create. Take your time to create your own words, your own English, but just use that same format. Because even if you pass the ATS, by the time you pass the ATS, it's going to still get to a recruiter. By the time it gets to a recruiter, the first thing the recruiter will look at, this is the same CV I saw here, this is the same CV I saw there, like almost 20 of it is the same thing. And you ask her, oh, they rejected me, they must have people that they want to take, they must have. No. So I hope you gained something from today's video. I also have an ebook, Life of a Flight Attendant. In it is 20 interview questions and answers, and I talk a lot about the cabin crew life, and I explain a lot about how to ace your cabin crew interview. It's a book that will help you in your journey. It will help you. You will gain a lot from it. So click on the link below and get the book. As usual, my name is Yetunde Adeyemi, and see you soon.